Welcome to another episode of the Self-Storage Insight Podcast. I'm Ben Shirey, and today I'm joined by Matt Markham. And Matt, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So me and Matt have been working together for about 2 years now on the CCStorage project. I started in April, actually 2 years ago, with feature development, research, all that stuff. And then Matt came on shortly after to build out the sales process and does all of our demos for CCStorage. And so, super excited to have you on the podcast today.
Yep. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about today a little bit around some of the features and some of the uses behind management software, why it's so important to a facility, what's been changing over the last couple of years, and why are these changes important to self-storage owners. So I guess we'll just kind of start off with, in your conversations with facility owners, what are some of the most important things they're looking to get out of self-storage facility management software?
It depends on the business and the size of the business, but mainly the management tasks. They like those to be automated. Some softwares don't quite do as much as others, but as far as like invoicing, past due notices, late fees, they like those things to be automated so they can kind of focus on other things to help scale the business.
Sure. Yeah, and automation is a hot word. I think in every software, any subscription models, any software, anything like that, automation is definitely a hot topic, and it's super important. But there's a reason that it's so important, and it's basically because we're trying to figure out ways to keep costs down for facilities so they can grow, right? Yep. So it used to be if you had 5 locations, one single person could maybe manage 3 to 4 locations, 300 to 400 units. And that was about all one person could do. And then you had to hire and you had to scale based on how many facilities you'd bring on. What are some of the things that you're seeing that automation's changing in facilities now that's giving them the ability to grow with less overhead?
Remote management, that's a possibility now with all the automation as far as the management processes, the gate integrations, reporting. But, some facilities, it depends on the area. Some like that personal touch. They like to have a relationship with their tenants and, they're 100% occupied, and to them that's a win. Mm-hmm. Others, they don't care so much about that. They're focused more on growth and, they want as little overhead as possible. So then they rely heavily on the software to automate a lot of those tasks to eliminate the need to hire, additional people or anybody.
Right. Yeah. And just throwing out some numbers here, like we've seen facilities that we're working with add 3 and 4 locations in the last 4 to 5 months. And they haven't had to hire anybody. They haven't had to train anybody. It does really, whenever you have automation in place, the right automation, the tasks that you actually need to automate, it does definitely gives you an upper hand on how fast you can scale, how fast you can add additional facilities, and then take over management at other facilities because the ones that you have up and running and automated are flowing so much better. Yeah. Big ones there too are like autopay, and then automatically notifying the customer if their autopay doesn't go through, yep, and then retrying the autopay. So let's talk about that for a couple minutes because some softwares do this different, right, mm-hmm, with the autopay. Yeah. Some of them have fees associated with declined transactions. Talk to me a little bit about what are you hearing around those sort of things?
A lot of our demos come from people that are upset with these fees, these additional fees, these merchant fees, the decline fees, the chargeback fees, the ACH failure fees. So that's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And kind of what separates us from those situations is through our software, all those costs are absorbed into the 2 rates in which we do pass to the tenants. So yeah, you don't incur a decline fee of 25 cents or, whatever that transaction fee is. So as far as automation goes, they have to worry a lot less about our software, rerunning this card if the transaction fails because they don't incur any of those fees. Yeah. So we do carry that out, and you can elaborate on that a little bit more.
Well, with those 2 rates, because most people probably don't know with CCStorage how our pricing model works or how we're different. Yeah. Go ahead, give us a little bit of information around those 2 rates. What are they?
So if a tenant uses a card, any card type, any card brand, VMD, Amex, it's a 3.99% fee, and that rate's been the same since inception. I think it hasn't gone up.
Never changed it.
And if they choose to pay with ACH, it's 1.75%. And we're the only software that actually compliantly passes those costs to your tenant. So It's a very common business practice now. 86% of the nation's willing to pay a fee to use their card for the convenience. Businesses all over the U.S. are doing it, so we implemented that business model with our software, and it's been really effective.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing that allows us to do as well there is it gives us the flexibility around what we can afford to do to try to make these facilities run better, right? So with the 3.99, again, most people are like, oh, that's a little higher than what I'm paying now with my current software. Difference is you're paying it now.
Yeah.
And with our software, your tenant's going to pay it, and they're okay with paying it. Like, we don't ever hear from companies that reach out and say, oh my goodness, I implemented differential pricing and all of my tenants are complaining about this.
Zero.
It's literally like, oh, 1 or 2 people have complained about this fee.
Yeah.
It's way less than a rate increase and they're okay with it. But then it also gives us some flexibility because of that increased rate. We are able to retry auto pays 4 times. So we will run your auto pay on the day that it's due. So if you're due on the 1st, we're going to run auto pay on the 1st. You don't need to go in and click a button to run auto pay. The system just runs auto pay on the due date. Then if it fails, we try it again the next day. Then we tried again 5 days later, and then we tried again a week later. So we're trying it throughout the month to capture those funds. And in most cases, we also send a notification to the tenant saying, hey, your payment failed. And they log in and they update their payment method, or they change their payment method, and they make their payment. So again, that's some of the automation that we're able to do that helps with the billing side of your facility and taking away some of the, again, probably those are the worst calls as a manager to make. I know, like, if I have to contact somebody about a billing issue, those aren't fun calls. You hate to call people and say, hey, you're broke. Your card declined because of insufficient funds.
Yeah, odds are they know it too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it kind of eliminates some of the need for some of that follow-up. And again, we try it multiple times before their late fees are going to hit, depending on your late fee rolls. So we're also trying to help the tenant and get them to make their payment on time and not incur those additional fees. And some of the other things around autopay that I just wanted to touch on is a national average is, if your customers are paying autopay, and this is across all subscriptions. So this isn't just self-storage rentals, which again, in self-storage rentals are more like a subscription than they are like a lease, right?
Yeah,
because I have a monthly subscription to put my stuff in this place. But across all subscription types, if your customers are on autopay, they are going to stay 6 months longer than if they're manually making their payment every month. And that's a huge number, especially for a self-storage facility where the national average in 2019 was like 10 to 12 months is how long these tenants would stay. Now that average has moved up to 16 months, but a lot of that has been because companies are getting better at getting more of their tenants on autopay. Yeah. So talk to a little bit around that autopay then, and we'll kind of transition into online rentals. What makes adding autopay easier now versus the old way of calling your customer and saying, hey, do you want me to put you on autopay?
Yeah. I mean, when people rent online, in a lot of cases, they have the option to enable autopay. So we do enable autopay. We generate the autopay agreement, and they're enrolled in autopay. They do have the flexibility to disable it if they need to. And you can also, on the back end as a manager owner, you can toggle that on or off. But it does help with the transaction success to have these tenants on autopay. And again, if that autopay fails, we do send out the notices to let them know, hey, your payment failed, and we're going to try to run it again. And they now are aware, which I'm sure they were already, but they're going to be able to log into their tenant portal, and which they have a lot of control there, which we'll touch on, but they can make the payment at any time.
Yeah. And so the biggest reason for increases in autopay percentages has been the online rental process, right? So getting your customers to move in online, again, is what they want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to move in online anymore.
Over 80%.
There's a lot of people that still call in. That number changes every year. It goes more towards online rentals and less towards the phone call. But at the same time, more people are also searching online. So the way that we're able to increase the online rentals thing is a simple online rental process where I can go to a website. Your facility should be putting some of its money into SEO and into your online presence, boosting your Google business listing, that sort of thing. It's just a cost of business that you should probably be doing because people are in your area searching for self-storage facilities. You want to make sure you're showing up. But once they show up on your website, there should be an easy rent now button and then an easy application, and this is one of the things where, man, we have seen so many online lease agreements.
It's not as common as I thought it was, using our software. the process is seamless. I get on some of these demos and they show me their website, and I'm like, okay. And I get to the point where I can rent, and I'm like, oh, now I have to call the facility, or now I can reserve, and then now there's multiple steps to the process to rent. People lose interest; their value shrinks the more steps they have to go through. So our goal is to make it a one pager per se, but yeah, the quicker that you can collect their funds and let them rent, inevitably the more revenue that you're going to generate.
Yeah. And then a lot of it comes back to as well, like the lease agreement that they have in place. With online rentals, it is different than in-person rentals, right? Yeah. So like if somebody walked into the facility 5 years ago, and they were filling out a lease application, it felt more like I was going to be renting a residential property. It's more likely that, they're going to run a credit check on me. And so there's all these requests for social security numbers, date of birth, all of this crazy information. And nobody's comfortable with putting that information online. Me, for sure, I'm not going to go to a place to rent online something to put, a 10 by 10 box to put my stuff in, and then give them my social security number and upload all of these crazy documents in order to store stuff there. I'm going to go somewhere that I can move into with a simple flow. Yeah. And so we've seen so many I've seen some leases come across our desk that are like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I could fill this out without talking to an accountant, and then also like going to my safe and digging out documents because they're asking for crazy information.
Got to run it by my attorney.
Right. So making sure that the online application part is very simple. And so that's one of the things that we've really focused on. We get a lot of really good feedback on that.
And not to downplay the lease. I mean, we understand the reasoning behind all the verbiage. You need to protect your business, and it is your property. But there is a more efficient way to do it than to have 30-page lease agreement, and multiple pages of a DocuSign. You can summarize all that, into a pretty short lease agreement, and make it quick, they can sign it quickly. Yeah.
You want to protect your business, but at the same time, you don't want to lose your business because you don't have tenants. Yeah. So there's definitely a balance there that you want to try to keep. So collecting the correct information as much as you need to protect your business and feel comfortable with it. Yeah. Again, we have the flexibility. You can put as many fields on there as you want and ask for all that stuff. It's just you're going to see a significant decrease in online rentals. Yeah. So
we collect the necessities, like picture of their ID, your license, emergency contact, name, phone number, address, email address, the stuff that you need for that tenant, and it still allows them to get through it pretty quickly.
For sure. And then let's talk about the tenant portal a little bit. So once you rent online, you're redirected into your tenant portal. We also send out notifications to every one of your customers that they can easily access their tenant portal, which has been a game changer for us as far as getting people to pay online, which helps our facilities keep tenants longer. But what are some of the things that the tenant portal offers that they like?
Myself included, tenants typically like control. So they like to be able to have access to an account per se. But so with our tenant portal, they can log in, they can go right to your website, they can sign in to their tenant portal, and they can view their site map. So if it's a new renter and you've automated the move-in process, they now have a site map immediately available to them to where they can see where their unit's located at and directions to that unit. They can view their gate codes because with our gate integrations, we do, like we said earlier, we like to automate things. So we do generate gate codes and we assign them to the tenant. We, send them a text with that gate code when they rent online, but they can also view that gate code if they forget it. And they can view all their invoice history, especially for commercial renters. They like to have access to their invoices, and they can print those at any time. But they can look at their receipts. They can update their own payment method. So they have total control over, their account pretty much. And that seems to eliminate a lot of phone calls and traffic. You'll see a decrease in traffic and phone calls. Sure. For simple stuff, what I mean?
And we also put a copy of the lease in there for them. Yep. So that way, if they ever have any questions on the lease, they always have it. I know. But the gate codes was one of the bigger ones too. Most facilities get a lot of phone calls because people forget their gate code. Yep. And if all you did was your system sent them an email or a text even with their gate code in it, you very quickly lose track of those. They don't stay in your phone forever. And so having that, as soon as you log into your account, it's the first thing that you see right on your dashboard. Your gate code for the facility shows up. And that's really helped us eliminate some phone calls that were unnecessary to go back to the business. And then, so while we're touching on that, gate integrations are always one of the big questions that come up. There are tons of different gates in self-storage. Yep. And so which ones do we integrate with at CCStorage? And,
so we first integrated with Door King, and since we've integrated with Open Tech Alliance, PTI, just finishing up our finished up spider door, Sentinel. So the idea behind who we partner with is it is a partnership. So we are strategic with who we work with, but I will say that all the gate companies that we work with, they play ball with every other software. So it's not like you're going to be trapped with a proprietary gate solution that we offer. That's not how we do business. We're going to partner with people that know how to do that better, the gate companies. The integrations are seamless. As far as automation, we do lock them out automatically for non-payment. If they pay their past due balance, we give them access within moments. So there's a lot of cool things that we do, and we eliminate the need for manual updates or pushes to the gate system from the software.
Our system doesn't have a sync button in it, right? Like our system automates all of that stuff. So if you want your gate codes to sync with CCStorage, you just put the gate code in the system and we sync it. Like, and again, with all the cloud-based solutions, it's every 3 seconds or every time something happens, like an event occurs. So if there's a new rental, immediately we push that gate code into your gate software. There isn't a delay on it. It's within a second. And every 3 seconds, our system checks for updates and pushes them over in case there's anything that happens. So there's never any downtime within the gate transition process. Even with some of the local ones that we've built, like so with Sentinel and with Door King, there's a difference between cloud-based and local. And so when we pass gate codes onto the actual computer at your facility, if you're hardwired to a gate with a local program, we're doing that within every 10 minutes. So we, again, we do the most pushes of anybody else.
And we do it as quickly as we can. That's the time frame that we were able to do it. So
for sure.
But it's we want to, the goal is to eliminate tasks and to eliminate sync buttons. You know what I mean?
Sync buttons, open, close buttons. Like we don't open your register or close your register.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, it should be, that's the kind of stuff that should not exist. But so awesome. So what are some of the things that we're going to be working on in the future, plans for the future, or where's the self-storage facility management software going to be heading?
It's exciting, man. Like, so we've had the benefit of, the OGs like SiteLink, ESS, Storage Commander. They kind of paved the way over the years, but we have the advantage because we now get to hear all the feedback from their customers that have issues with, certain features or functionality. And that's how we build our software. So we build our software based off of the feedback we get from our customers who have used, in most cases, a software for years. And, it's exciting because, Ben and I will have our meetings and we're like, so what feature are we going to, launch next? And I'm like, well, we need the rate manager dialed in, or we need this. And we're like, well, we have another gate integration we need to add because, we had a handful of facilities that needed this integration. But I think the rate manager, we're going to be dialing in a little bit further. Some of the other stuff I'll jump in on is, a big thing, again, trending is AI. Yeah.
Right. And so, whether or not anybody likes it, AI is going to hit every industry in the United States. It doesn't matter. Self-storage is usually pretty far behind the curve instead of in adapting new technology. But it is coming. I mean, like for example, I've been working with some AI agencies and we're working on a model right now for CCStorage to test it out where, we're going to have an AI agent that's going to answer the phones and it's going to do a bunch of stuff. And mainly we're testing that so we can try to build a model that we can release to our customers where it's like, hey, you have 24/7 access to an AI agent. Like that's coming to the industry whether anybody likes it or not. If you don't like talking to AI, tough.
Yeah,
right.
It's inevitable.
Rent a hotel in Vegas. You're not talking to a person anymore.
Yeah.
And again, that's just I did a podcast a few weeks ago about that. But again, that's coming to the industry. So that's something that we're already working on as far as modeling out, trying to figure out the most cost-effective way to be able to release something like this to our facility. So the AI call center agent
and AI doesn't have a bad day. You know what I mean? Like there's no.
And it also doesn't have a foreign accent. It doesn't get fired.
Yeah.
It doesn't quit.
Super productive. Yeah.
You don't have to retrain it every time
it won't argue
gets
with
frustrated.
You. It'll just search for an answer.
So again, it has some huge benefits. It's getting more and more affordable. It's getting more and more advanced. It's every year it gets so much better. So again, I think within 5 years, every facility is going to have the ability to add something like this to their locations. And we're trying to get there, hopefully in the next 12 to 16 months or somewhere in that range. We're definitely something that we're focused on is getting ahead of that a little bit just because we see that's the future of the future of technology.
To stay competitive and to continue to grow,
For sure.
it's kind of required at that point that you adapt.
Yeah,
So.
and again, we're going to continue dialing in things like trying to make our online rental process better, because that trend is just continues to grow every year. So we definitely want to focus on that, getting better with marketing websites and things like that. So man, it's an exciting time to be in self-storage right now. The industry is always changing. Occupancy rates are always fluctuating, and we're always just trying to figure out ways to better help facilities. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. Is there anything else that sticks out to you, or anything else you'd like to touch on?
Well, you'd mentioned earlier that we've had facilities in the past 6 months that have added multiple locations over the months. We are ideal for growth. I mean, as far as expanding, it's unlimited locations, units, tenants, users within the software. But as far as growth goes, it's our customers like the fact that they can just send an email to support or get a hold of support and say, hey, we've added an additional location. Let's get this set up. Mm-hmm. And, we work whether they were using an existing software or none at all. We're able to get them set up, rather quickly. And, we've given them that opportunity to expand that quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And with some of the stuff that we just recently released, it was, you could always manage multiple locations inside of one account, assuming that they were all going back to the same bank account and it was all linked to the same business. Then we built out the ability now where you can have separate accounts, but they're all linked together, and you can just quickly jump between new companies. Yeah. So if I add a location, but it's with a new investor group, so the money has to go somewhere else, you can just quickly navigate to those. You don't have to sign into other accounts. Yeah. And there's no account fee, so it's not like there's a $300 cost to add this next location.
Yeah, you don't have to try to cram your 3 locations into one account or one location.
Yep, just run it however you want to run it.
Yeah, run it how you want to run it. Yeah, and we are scaling to support enterprise level businesses. But what's cool about that is we're building out our software to support these businesses, and all of our customers have access to that. You know what I mean? So
we have customers that were with us when there were no features. Yeah. And so because we've been developing all these features, they've, as we add things, we don't, again, unless there's a paid feature that in the future that we're going to add where there's real costs that we can't wrap up into that $399. Again, currently we don't have any of those. Yeah. But that is something that will be a possibility in the future. However, it'll be optional. Our software is, that is one thing that we have really strive for, is to keep that model of there's just a $399 cost on the card, $175 on the ACH, and there's no cost to your business.
And that's where we generate our revenue. Just to be clear, I get that all
ours
the time.
Is in that piece.
How do you make your money? This is too good to be true. We just found out a different way to generate revenue, which allows us to offer the software at no cost to you guys. So we're the most cost-effective and facility owner-friendly software as far as your bottom line. And again, actively developing. A lot of these other legacy softwares, I hear all the time, like, oh, it seems like they quit putting resources into my software because they're doing something else. Yeah. Or my software was acquired by a larger facility or by a larger operating group, and now their developer resources are going into this other thing, and they're stuck not getting answers from support. They're stuck not getting features built that they want built. We are still building almost all of our features on requests from facility owners that are using our software. So it is an exciting time to be part of CCStorage and to be growing in the self-storage industry for sure. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt. I think we'll kind of just wrap it up there. I know there's not enough time to go into all the features that we offer to the management side, and I mean, we could be here for a while, but it's been fun to talk to you about some of this stuff, and look forward to the next couple years of growth with you.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning into the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This episode was brought to you by CCStorage. CCStorage is a property management software that can be utilized by your business at no cost to you. Pass the fees for credit card processing onto your tenants, increase your business's revenue, no software fees, no contracts, no per unit costs, no surprises. So hope you check out CCStorage as the sponsor of our podcast, and we hope you tune in to the next episode. Thank you.